So it is Thanksgiving Eve, and I was supposed to just go to a store and buy a few wines for holidays, Friendsgiving, watching United States England on Friday. So just a few wines. And sometimes I just can't be trusted in stores like this, and I found a whole bunch of new wines. Not new wines, I bought a bunch of wines. So this store that's opened up sort of near me has expanded some of its aisles and just their offerings. A lot more French wine, although ironically by many French. But specifically, I was just going to buy a cab or two and maybe a rosé and a Sancerre. So I did get those, but I got a bunch of other things. So I guess to remember what I did order or get, doing a little video. So I did get a rosé, Bandol. I don't know if I've ever had this one, Domaine d'Olivet, 2021. So nice and fresh, nice and young. And I've liked every Bandol rosé I've ever had except one that I had sort of recently. So in the $20 range for that. Rosés aren't typically that expensive. And I have another one also. I found this. So this is Owen Rose Kilmore. The Kilmore is a Pinot Noir 2016 from Yamhill Carlton. That's pretty sure the vineyard or yeah, AVA possibly. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, the Yamhill Carlton AVA in Oregon. So this is the Kilmore, and I recently had this, the 2016 as well, and it was awesome. So $38 for this. I actually have the prices in front of me for everything. I thought it'd be good to go over some of the prices of some of these. So two of these for $76. So yeah, in that range, $38. Really great Pinot Noir for that price. This Bandol, the Olivet, was $25. So a little bit more expensive of a rosé. See how it is. This wine is, let's just get the price so I know. $18.99, so $19, and it's called Goru, Goru 18M, and it's a blend of 80% Monastrell, which is Mourvedre, 20% Cabernet Sauvignon, and it's made in Jumilla. So this is a similar blend to what they do with Clio, but this is only $19. I'm pretty sure this was in Wine Spectator's top 100 this year. And I'm always looking for a good bargain, high performing Spanish, red. And Spain used to be my go-to. And I used to like Juan Hill, and then that wine kind of changed. I don't really like it. It's 100% Monastrell, or mostly Monastrell. Clio I love, but it's about 45. This is 19, so it's worth trying. They had others too with different blends, mostly Monastrell, 70 to 80%. Some had some Syrah Petit Verdot. This has Cab Sauvignon. You know, it's got the sticker 91 Wine Spectator, whatever. We'll see. We'll see how this one is. I'm definitely going to bring it to my friends on Saturday. I hope that I just remember. You know, I have a few glasses in, and I have this. I might just not get a great feel for it, but they had a bunch of others. So we'll see how that one is first and go from there. And maybe I found a nice little $20 gem. It's possible. It's possible. I'm always looking for something like that. It's big, though, 15%. So, you know, it could be a nice weekday pour, but it's going to taste a little alcoholic. A little of that aged Chardonnay from a few nights ago. So, Frank Family, Vineyards, Cab, Napa. This I've always loved. And from like the 2003 vintage to current. This is the 18. 18 is one of the great vintages out of Napa, although Napa typically has had a string of amazing vintages. So 18 being one of the highest rated overall. But I recently had a Frank Family. I think it was a 16 or 17. It was phenomenal. And it had some restraint, but still you could definitely tell it was Cab. It was fantastic. It got better and better as the night went on. So $50 wine, I'm pretty sure this is 50, right? Frank Family. Let's find it on the list. Yes, $50 for this. I'm probably going to bring this Saturday, and this will be the first wine I share with some friends. I think this is a great wine to introduce people to like a great $50 cab that's both unctuous but also balanced and slightly restrained. It's not as restrained as maybe one of the other cabs I'm going to talk about in a little bit, but definitely in that middle ground there. Now, speaking of it, and here it is, Frog's Leap 2018 from Rutherford. Definitely restrained style, dry farm, one of my favorite cabs that's just doing it, just letting the vineyard speak for itself, do what it does. I've had the 17, I think I even have it up, and I've had a few other vintages. This is the 18. Curious as to how this one will be. This is one of the wines, this Chapelet Clio, wines that I buy every vintage just to have them because I enjoy them, even if it's just one. But here's the 18 of the Frog's Leap, and this was a little bit more. 58. So it's gone up, but not, still sub 60. So another Oregon Pinot. So I think one of these, this or the Kilmore, I think the Kilmore is going to come with me tomorrow for Thanksgiving. Pinot Noir goes really great with turkey if you are a red wine drinker. This is from Dundee Hills AVA 2017. So their entry level Pinot is $25, I think. It's gone up over time. It used to be sub 20 when I discovered it, and it was awesome. This is 40, so I haven't had this in a really long time, and I remember it being awesome. So I think this is a great producer out of Oregon, and it's Dundee Hills Reserve. It's just the Dundee Hills AVA, so another Oregon Pinot. And okay, this has been on my mental wish list, and not this wine, but this region. So this is Vino Noble di Montepulciano, and it's not the Montepulciano grape. It's actually mostly Sangiovese. I don't know if it's going to tell me on the back how much Sangio. And this is a Reserva. So this is Solchetto Reserva Nobile di Montepulciano 2016. So the great 2016 vintage out of Tuscany. Definitely been looking to get a good Vino Nobile. Now this is $38. So not inexpensive, but if it compares to a Brunello of the $60 caliber in that vintage, you do save some money there. And I just want to try more expressions of Sangio, like I do with Nebbiolo, Voltolina, and Gattinaro, and Gemme, besides Barolo and Barbaresco, and then having them from Pennsylvania and having one from New Jersey. Like, I just love the Nebbiolo grape and exploring that. Sangiovese is sort of another sweet spot for me. Sangio to me is a little deeper and darker fruited, black and blue fruited than red fruited like Nebbiolo, but the tannins are there, the acid's there. It's great food wine. Said it time and time again with sauce and meatballs. Sangiovese is phenomenal. So I saw that, and I said I just have to buy it. And I got a second Kilmore. They had two. I couldn't pass up a 2016 Kilmore. Owen Row used to be one of my favorite wineries when I was younger. They have Syrahs. They have a whole bunch of stuff out of this winery or winemaker. I don't remember as much about them. This is 13%. I remember this being exceptionally good Pinot. So this used to be one of my favorite weekday wines. I love Alsatian Riesling. So Alsace makes some great whites from the noble grapes. It's Riesling, Muscat, Pinot. Wow, Gewurz and Pinot Blanc. Those are the four white nobles out of Alsace. I don't even remember now, but this one, Domaine Weinbach, this is their sort of entry-level Riesling Vin d'Alsace, so it's nothing extravagant, but I used to love it as a weekday. They stopped carrying $27, so a little over that $25 range, but only about $2. But it's a 2019, so this is awesome. I will be buying more of this. Used to love this one. I love Alsatian Rieslings. I have one that's a 2010, I think, in my fridge, a Grand Cru Alsatian Riesling. So yeah, I'm hoping this is great, and I can buy some of these as weekday wine. So this is what I mean. They've expanded this liquor store now, you know, bringing in these Rieslings and I'll say in more French. A lot of the French area expanded. They didn't have like the Chardonnay from Frog's Leap, which is an amazing $25 Chardonnay. They didn't have Obsidian, like didn't have some wines that I was hoping to find, but I found some new ones here. So, well, I don't know if they're gonna bring any more of the Kilmore back, but if they do, I'll be hard pressed not to buy more of it. So this is in the vein of bottle shape, bottle marketing that I can't stand, but Gerard Bertrand doesn't really make crap wine. And, you know, it's got the rose on the bottle. This is a rosé. It's got the glass cork. So this actually is easy. You pop it open it up with your hands if you're somewhere on a boat or somewhere else. I think for $15, $16, this rosé is solid. It really is. I don't find anything wrong with it. It's a Grenache Syrah Cinsault. It's from Languedoc. The producer's legit. Gerard, I mean, he makes tons of wine, but this is not. He doesn't put his name on something unless it's legit. So I think he's big into making things natural. I don't know if this is or isn't, but it's a good, solid rosé that I can have. So I know nothing about this Sancerre. It was $32, except that's a slightly pricier Sancerre. This is Domaine de la Porte Sancerre Chauvignol. I don't know anything about this, except that it's Sauvignon Blanc out of Sancerre region of the Loire. That's it. So bring this over for Thanksgiving, something to have with some appetizers. And when I want Sauvignon Blanc, this is where I go. Sancerre and Polyfumé in the Loire in France is where I think the best expression of Sauvignon Blanc exists. I sometimes crave in the summer that very tropical, grassy, acidic. This is acidic too, but it's almost like a flamboyant version of Sauvignon Blanc out of New Zealand. But actually, out of New Zealand, I'd like to try to get some Pinot Noirs. Wine Spectator had this Burn Cottage one, about 40 or 50 bucks, and they're like rated like 95. And not that I want to be chasing scores, but I'm always looking to explore some other regions for Pinot or other grape varietals that I do hold in high regard. So that Burn Cottage is on my mental list if I do see it anywhere, but it's probably going to go quick with that type of rating and that kind of price for Pinot Noir. Although 40 isn't cheap, but 40 for Pinot Noir is kind of cheap. So on Sancerre 32, not cheap, but hopefully it's good. Try it tomorrow. And here is a Tokai. So this is Royal Tokai Late Harvest. So Tokai, Hungary, and this is a sweet wine. Now, this isn't with the Petunios. Petunios is a rating scale of 1 to 6 of sweetness, and when those have Petunios are pretty expensive. This is just a late harvest. It's a smaller bottle, 500 milliliter, 19 bucks. Some people on Thanksgiving want something slightly sweeter, so this definitely will be a sweet white. And I like the Tokais typically. They got good acidity. Kind of remind me a little bit of Sauterne, so I don't drink a lot of it, but I don't mind it. And the Valderies. So Valderies, this is Ribera del Duero. This is mostly Tempranillo. And this is a pretty big and bold wine. I've talked about this wine before. I kind of took a break from it because I bought a lot of it and I drank a lot of it. It's normally it's a 15, it's 14.5%. It even tastes bigger than that. $27.99. I'm going to bring it on Saturday. I believe it's a great alternative to Cabernet, big and bold and dark fruited and elegant. And the Valderies is a great producer. It's higher in one of just 50 bucks is amazing. Never seen it. Never seen it. I see this all the time now, and this always gets a pretty good rating. But so that's that. That's all the wines, right? So to go into just one or two wines that come out with this is exactly what happened. I did buy some hard cider, some dry cider from New York. That was the only other thing, and that was it. So with that, have a good night.